Congresswoman, why are you here in Southern Nevada today?
It's about telling the story of Hillary Rodham Clinton. It is to reach out to not only like-minded persons, but to tell my story of a progressive supporting Hillary and letting everyone know that she is a progressive with a plan. To touch people one by one, door knocking and getting people to understand that Saturday is a momentous day. It's a momentous occasion because it is to get someone who can respond to the hurt and pain and joys of the Rodhams and to make sure that this state is not forgotten. As I've looked at her life, she is someone who's been connected to this state, but she's also been connected to what she says. She's been connected to civil rights. She's been connected to LGBT rights. She has been connected to health care, fighting for health care in the 1990s, battling for it, and then ultimately getting the Children's Health Insurance Program. And then she has been associated with empowering people, small businesses, entrepreneurs. Her announcement yesterday, $25 billion for entrepreneurs and small businesses, $20 billion for summer youth jobs. Which is something we as Democrats fought with, along with President Obama. We got it for one summer, and she's got it for a plan. Also to say that I take issue. President Obama's legacy will be unbelievable. He fought against the odds, and we had a fantastic time with the Democratic Congress during that period. We passed more laws in the history of the United States Congress when we were in the power. When we had a Democratic speaker, the GI Bill, the Affordable Care Act, a lot of environmental laws. And so Hillary has the knowledge to build upon it. And then internationally, it's not just about some of the issues that have been discussed in this election. It's about the relationship and respect that nations' leaders have of Hillary around the world, from the continent of Africa to South and Central America, to Asia, South Asia, to Europe, and beyond. Relationships help America in its status and its position in the world, and America is still the greatest country in the world. Finally, let me say that this is a state of veterans and active duty military, and she is renowned about her respect, appreciation, and fight for military families and the military. So I think when people know the substance of Hillary, the strength of her progressiveness, that she's not willing to give it up, she's not willing to cede, she's willing to fight for youth, they need to know she is together, as they say. Hillary is awesome. And whatever words they want to use, I may need another word, but she is awesome. And she's truly an example of what we want for them, hill climbers. We want them to get to the mountain of success. And that's what Hillary is all about.
Well, getting back to civil rights, what do you say, groups like Black Lives Matter activists and the Dreamer activists have had a positive role in changing the conversation in this election cycle and getting, especially the Democratic candidates to talk more about issues of institutionalized discrimination?
I think that is powerful. I've embraced both of them. I am the former ranking member on the Immigration Subcommittee. I've worked with Dreamers. I've had Dreamers on my staff. Hillary has been endorsed by Dreamers because they understand she means what she says and says what she means, and that she will fight for them. The executive orders that the president has had to engage in because of inertia in Congress, Republicans again. She is fully supportive of giving Dreamers an opportunity and their families, and I certainly support them, and I'm here for her. And then Black Lives Matter, I embrace them. I count them as the activists of the 60s and 70s. They now come with their own activism. And I can tell you, as the ranking member, the lead Democrat on the Criminal Justice Committee in Washington, that the Dreamers, but the Black Lives Matter have driven the agenda. And interestingly enough, an agenda that Hillary Rodham Clinton spoke to in April of last year at Columbia University, dealing with the issues of law enforcement and the relationship between the community, dealing with sentencing reduction, prison reform, and juvenile justice. And just yesterday, giving a magnificent speech saying something that Black Lives Matter has said, racism exists. Systemic racism exists. She's actually said it. And how can you not be evidencing what Black Lives Matter stands for when you have the mothers of Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, and many other mothers who've experienced this terrible devastation of losing their child, support Hillary Rodham Clinton. She gets it. She gets Black Lives Matter. They will be recognized and known for their activism and respected for their desire for change. And I know that she will fight and work as hard as she can to get the change that they desire.
You mentioned Eric Gardner. I saw a new Bernie Sanders campaign ad that featured Erica Gardner talking about Sanders' history with the civil rights movement and how that convinced her to go out and campaign for Bernie. Do you think that over the past few months, he's evolved enough and gotten to understand issues of institutionalized discrimination along with economic inequality?
Well, civil rights and racial discrimination and racism is so personal for me. It's very sensitive, very, very sensitive point in my life. I experienced it. I rode in segregated trains, and so it's very personal for me. I look to someone's extended history that is not only long-standing but ongoing. I love Erica. I met Erica Garner, as I recollect. As well as her mother. And what can you say to someone who's experienced that horrific loss? What we're saying about Hillary is that she has a deeply embedded sense of what injustice is because she's been there to work for it for 40 years. And so she brings to the table those kinds of scars, the scars that I've had, and frankly, better equipped to take that long-standing history and change the hopes and dreams of people into reality. That's what we're fighting for, and that's what we think Hillary represents.
And finally, it's interesting to see the conversation develop on the Democratic side in terms of addressing institutionalized discrimination, but some of us also have to track what the Republicans have been saying as of late. What do you think the Democratic nominee and the party and larger progressive movement need to do in order to excite and turn out communities of color against what's increasingly looking like a Donald Trump nomination?
Well, we've got to tell them that we have real jobs, real embedded history. We will not be learning on the job. We've got to address pain and not try to cover it up. People are hurting because they are not living the quality of life that they would like, and we can actually do it. And that we're committed to not nickel and diming the issue of poverty, nickel and diming the issue of lack of education. We're going to do something about the enormous student loan debt, bring it down, refinance it for those who have it, and then put in place free education for those who don't have it. But we have a plan. And that's what makes a difference. We can jump in day one with a plan and let's get it going. There are resources in the federal government. It's a question of whether or not we get the Republicans in Congress, both the House and the Senate, to understand that they work for all of America. Hillary has had that ability. She was enormous in providing resources after 9/11 for the regular people of New York. And I take issue. I'm on Homeland Security. There were a lot of people hurt in New York. A lot of areas hurt in New York. And she was a battler for getting those dollars to the first responders, working firefighters and working police officers. So the difference will be is that we'll be able to tell these people your pain is our pain, and we want to roll up our sleeves day one and get working for you. Listen to the talk of someone who wants to banish people, wants to banish Muslims, wants to banish people from different backgrounds. We know that there are contributing people from all walks of life We want to bring people together. We want to ease the pain, get people working, get their businesses up and going, get their children opportunities, get them housing, and take care of people who are the most vulnerable. That's Hillary Rodham Clinton. If there's anything that we want to know about Hillary, she's a fighter, and she's a fighter with results.